Yeah, hi there. Let's take a look at your comments here. So I'm just going to use the first letter of your name for privacy purposes. So your name is A. So here's what you said. You say, "Hello, Michael. I just found out your website today. I have some questions. I want to improve my writing still because I only made 15 points out of 30 when I took the TOEFL last year. I want to know how fast will you review my essay and give me feedback on video. Since I only have 4 days left, I want to write about 3 essays a day. So do you think I should be your student? Since I only have a little amount of time, thank you for your time. Please get back with me if you can." All right, let me talk to you a little bit. Let me get something to drink here. Hold on. I'm a little bit thirsty right now. Okay, so let me clarify a few things. You're probably one of my YouTube subscribers, and you saw some of my videos of my talking to other students and giving other students feedback on their writing, right? Now, I cannot always do that. Sometimes when I'm not so busy, I do take time to go over students' essays by video. But when I get busier, sometimes I only have enough time to write a short paragraph. And in that paragraph that I send to you, it'll tell you what your score is. It'll tell you why. And it'll also tell you specific lessons that you can focus on to get better. So I'll either give you written feedback, and sometimes I'll give you audio feedback depending on how busy I am. Now, this month, I have 221 subscribers, so some days I'm very busy and other days I'm not so busy. It depends on how many practice tests the students are taking. Now, the one thing I want to tell you is I do have a rule. You can only submit one practice test per day as long as you use my service, and you can submit one speaking practice test per day as long as you're using my service. So you can't submit 5 or 6 different essays in one day, and I don't think it's going to help you anyway. And I'll tell you why. The whole purpose of writing is to write and complete an essay and then have a TOEFL specialist read it, evaluate it, score it, and tell you what the problems are, and then give you some recommended lessons on what you can do to get better. But if you do all 3 essays at one time, you're basically doing 3 things wrong all at once. You don't get a chance to get the feedback and then make changes and then try a new practice test. That's kind of one of the reasons why I have this particular rule. I don't think it's a really good learning. It's not really productive for students to take a whole bunch of speaking or writing practice tests without getting any feedback at all. You see what I'm saying? So that feedback is very, very important for you. So your question here is, you have 14 days. Now, what I want to do right now, I want to take a minute to look at what your score means, and then I can better answer your question. So if you're scoring 15 points out of 30 on the independent writing section of the test, it means you have limited development of ideas as they relate to the task. You're not giving enough details to support your general ideas. You have inadequate organization or connection of ideas. You probably need to work on developing your thesis, your topic sentences, and developing transitions from one paragraph to the next. Also, you have inappropriate or lack of details or examples and explanations as they respond to the task. And here's some of the big problems. You have some numerous problems with inappropriate word choice or word forms. You also have a large number of errors in sentence structure and or usage. Now, based on that, based on your score, I do have some lessons I think you need to study from my 7-step system. All students who score in this area, I will tell them similar things. You need to study my TOEFL vocabulary lesson 3. You might want to write this down in case you become one of my students. You also need to study grammar lessons 2 through 4. You need to also study grammar lesson 7 and focus on writing exercises. You need to also study my TOEFL writing lessons 1 through 2. So that's going to be very important for you right now as it relates to your current score on the independent writing section of the test. So what you do is you will review some of these lessons and then take a practice test. I'll give you a score, I'll give you some recommendations. You'll go back and review even more lessons, and once you review those, you'll take another practice test. See, you'll try to take what you've learned and incorporate that into your writing. So this is very, very important. Now the next thing, let's take a look at the integrated rubric so we can see why you got the score you did in that area. So if you're scoring approximately 15 points out of 30 on the integrated writing practice test, what that means is, wait a minute. Let me go back. I clicked on the wrong link here. Hold on. Okay, here it is. I'm clicking on the link right now, and I will always send you this same link so you can see what your score means as well. Okay, with your integrated writing score, you are missing some ideas from the listening. So you definitely need to improve your listening comprehension areas. So that's going to be very, very important for you. Also, you need to work a little bit on your organization. This is going to be important for you also. Okay, so another problem you're having right now is you're not really connecting the information in the lecture to the information in the reading passage. You haven't really shown what that relationship is. You also have language errors or expressions that make your meaning unclear at key junctures of your writing, such as your thesis statement or your topic sentences. In fact, because you didn't really make the connections between the lecture and the reading, a reader who's not really familiar with the lecture or the reading passage would not be able to understand what you're writing about. Now, these are pretty serious problems here. I'm going to be honest with you. These are things that you cannot solve in 14 days. I wish it were true, but I don't think you're going to be able to do it in just 2 weeks. But you might want to write these down. I do recommend some lessons to help you get better from my 7-step system. TOEFL Vocabulary Lesson 3, TOEFL Vocabulary Lesson 4, 5, and 6. Also, like I recommended with the independent task, Grammar Lesson 7.0, focus on the writing exercises. You also need to take a look at writing, my TOEFL Writing Lesson 8.0, 8.1, and my Integrated Writing Lesson number 10. So again, what you'll do is you'll review some of these lessons, and then you'll take a practice test. You'll see your score, and then you go back and go back and review some of these lessons again, maybe for 3 or 4 times. So to go back to your question, it says, how fast will you review my essay and give me feedback? Usually when you're doing writing, we usually get to your essay within about 24 hours. I do have one person working with me. I hired a college student over here at California State University, San Bernardino. I've trained him, and he will help me, and then I also respond to the writing also if I'm not too busy. So I think it's fair to say within 1 to 2 days we will score any essay that you submit. Now for the speaking practice test, it's about the same. Usually between 1 and 2 days we will listen, evaluate, and then record our response to any of your speaking practice tests. All right, so I think I've answered your question. And then let's go back one more time. It says, do you think I should be your student since I have a little amount of time? I would say no. I would say it's probably not beneficial for you to become one of my students for just 2 weeks. I don't think that's going to be the best situation for you. I think that you need, if you want to move from 15 points on the writing and get into the 20 or 21 or 22 or even 24 points, it's going to take for you several months. Remember, there's 3 things involved, I think, in learning a language: time, motivation, and practice. You're motivated and you want to practice, but you only have 14 days. 14 days, in my opinion, is not enough time to make significant improvements in your writing proficiency. Alrighty? Anyway, if you're interested in becoming one of my students, not for 14 days, and remember that I can help you long after you pass the TOEFL test, because my 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT, it's designed to help you not just for the TOEFL, but to improve your academic English proficiency. So if you're serious and you really want to write better, to speak better, you want to be able to read faster, you want to understand what you listen to, and all of those kinds of things, I would love to have you as a student. So if you do want to become one of my students, go to www.bettertoeflscores.com. Right under the video, click on the link, subscribe, and there you can create your PayPal account. You can make your first payment. And remember that you can use my service however long you want. That's the beauty of my service. If you don't want to use it after 2 weeks, you just go to my site, click unsubscribe, and then go to your PayPal account, and you can cancel my subscription. You can use my service for 2 months, 3 months, whatever you want. Okay, you control how long you want to use my service. But I'm telling you though, once you get to my system, there are a lot of lessons there, and it requires a lot of practice. So the sooner you become one of my students, the faster you will be able to get started on improving your English proficiency. Alrighty? I am a university professor at California State University, San Bernardino. I am serious about preparing you so you can use professional and academic English in a very, very advanced way. Okay? All right, bye-bye.